Yo, it's your boy, Seafoam Soldier. Welcome to the very first episode of Seafoam Sundays. Basically, a weekly show where we'll watch an episode of something, then hang out and chat about it afterwards. I think we will start off with Drag Race, but we may mix it up. Maybe Drag Race one week, maybe something else another week. But yeah, so I was thinking that we should go through. I actually lost where I was starting. We should go through every episode of Drag Race from the start to the end in tandem with the Race Chaser podcast by Willem in Alaska. I listened to the first episode in a week, but because I hadn't watched the first episode of Drag Race in a little while, I sort of forgot a lot of what they were talking about. So I thought it'd be fun to watch it and then listen to the podcast so we can sort of have a better idea of what they're talking about. So yeah, if you guys fancy that, then watch along. So yeah, today we're talking about obviously the very first episode, and it is just me, unfortunately. Hey Sue, can you all right? Thanks for joining. And because I'm literally by myself, I brought a couple of friends with me to keep me to keep me company, Cindy Lauper and Brian. So yeah, should be less awkward, you know. So usual sort of format though is in all streams. So I'll just go through the episode from start to finish. We'll chat about our thoughts and everything. Point out anything I noticed, or made notes, of course. So yeah, let's do it. Hopefully you guys managed to watch it. If you did, let me know. Yeah, okay, cool. So the episode starts off. Actually, you know what? I'm going to talk about my general thoughts on the episode before we start, because I was actually quite surprised by the level of production, because obviously everyone talks about it like it's a total shit show, but on the whole, I thought it was pretty good. I think the main thing that bugged me about the episode was how lackluster all the queens seemed to be. Like the energy was just consistently super low from pretty much all of them. I get it, like, you know, it's a brand new TV show. They don't know how big it's going to be. I get all that, but still, like, it's a national TV show. Put some effort in, you know. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh. I mean, some of them definitely impressed me. But yeah, just on the whole, I was just surprised by like how not bothered most of them seem to be there. But maybe that is just because we're used to like how big it is now. Hey, Carlos, thanks for joining. Yeah, you're right, Sukin. It's much less scripted for sure. Hey, Omar, you're right as well. Only seen season 1 once. I think this is my third time seeing it. I saw it. I first got into season 4. I think season 4, yeah. Then I went back and watched season 3. I think I watched 1 and 2 afterwards, and then I watched season 1 again when the revealed version of season 1 came out. And so I'm now watching it again, the revealed one again now. Yeah, I don't know. I remember before watching this episode, my thoughts were I didn't really like season 1 at all. Hey, Yaz, you all right? I didn't think you'd be around. What was I saying? Yeah, I didn't think I'd like it at all. Sorry, I remember when I watched it previously, I remember not really liking it at all. But actually watching it today, I actually quite enjoyed it. I do actually have quite a bit to say in there. I've got a few pages of notes. I didn't think I would do. So yeah, let's start from the top and go through it together as a family. So it starts off with pictures of young Rue. And I was sort of having a flashback to the last episode of every season where they hold up a picture of a young version of the queens and ask them to say something to that person. I think like Rue was sort of doing that at the start of the whole series by being like, I've just I've dominated life. I've got this TV show. Like, I don't know. It's sort of yeah. Nina Flowers and Tammy Brown were really good. They are obviously the two standouts. But I think this thing that's confusing for me I want to talk about is like some other queens that are held in like higher regard. I'm not really sure why they are. You know, maybe my thoughts on them will change as the season goes, but I'll say it until they come out, sort of thing. So the first weird thing was there's no entrance catchphrases, and like even more than that, I didn't show all the entrances properly. I think they just showed Chanel walking in, and then the others sort of just like it cut to them just being in the workroom. So I sort of missed that. I think that's a good addition. Obviously, you know, I agree with who said it. Suikin is less scripted generally, but I do think like some of the production values from the later seasons, although it's less real, does add a lot to the show. Omar says he really hopes they go ahead and redo season 1 instead of yet another All Stars without BB, of course. Yeah, Yeah, I agree. That'd be a really good idea, actually. Although based on what we saw from them from the last finale, I don't know, like they didn't seem that great. I don't know how interesting. If it's another short season, I guess there's only what if it's about BB, there'd be 8, so I guess there'd be 7 episodes, which I think would be decent. I'd watch that. But yeah, so Chanel came in again. So this is one of the queens I wanted to talk about most. Yeah, you're exactly, Carlos. Like the entrances are basically non-existent. So I don't really get Chanel. Like I know she was really big before she came on the show, and I feel like everyone likes her a lot, or at least she's like well respected. But she looked rough as to me. Like the look generally wasn't good, but the makeup was pretty shocking in my opinion. And obviously her attitude is like I don't think the attitude of being like I'm the winner is necessarily bad, but I feel like you have the sort of skills to back it up. Like I get it was what like over 10 years ago, but even then it just seems janky for even 2007. You know. Yeah, so you can say looks were so casual, it's amazing how drag has evolved over decades. I mean, Lexis Michelle's wardrobe outdid season 1 girls. It's true. Chanel, but I forgot how deluded she was. Yeah, no, exactly. That's it. But like, that's what I mean, she was big before she got on the show, right? But how did she get so big? Like, I don't really see any redeeming features from her in terms of drag talent. You know, I know it's super harsh. Okay, she's not terrible, but just I don't know. I just think she was one of the weakest ones for me, like from the get go. But obviously, she has the attitude of the best one there, you know. Whereas the next one in Nina, killing the game off the bat. She looked really good. I liked it as well. Like her confessional things were talking about how much time she put into her look and her drag. That said a lot more to me. Omar. Okay, Omar, what are your thoughts on Chanel then? Yeah, I'm interested to hear. And then it was Rebecca. There's a lot of like fishy queens for this season as well, which I was quite surprised by. I think it goes with like the general like mall looks we were being served with this first episode, but it's sort of they got away with it because a lot of them were quite fishy, like Tatiana vibes, you know. Obviously they were before Tatiana, but so yeah, Rebecca, pretty forgettable I thought, but a good transformation, and obviously total fish. Sorry, I'll see how this progresses in the comments. Okay, so another controversial one is this is going to be more controversial than Chanel, I think. But I know everyone loves Ongina, but I've never really seen it myself. Like I know she's got significantly better in recent years. I do think she's decent now, but everyone loved her off the bat. I think I can't remember exactly. I've watched the season twice, but we all know what my memory's like. I think she comes out about having HIV or something, or like there's some sort of I say sob story, but I don't mean sob story negatively. Like some sort of story that's resonated with people, which I totally respect. But in terms of drag talent, again, she just came in looking super rough. There was like, as opposed to not Nina, some of the other ones like Rebecca, there was absolutely no transformation for me. She just put like really heavy blush and like blue eyeshadow on and looked proper terrible. Yeah. Oh, Carlos, you're talking about Chanel or Ongina? Yeah, Rebecca is the OG fish. I agree with that. Although, like I said, there are a few really fishy queens this season, I thought. But yeah, I'm interested to see if my thoughts on Ongina will change as the season progresses. Like, I know she didn't do terribly for her final look, the drag on a dime look. But I don't know. I think especially her entrance look was just super rough. Carlos, I like Ongina's fascinators, but that's about it. She's all right, but doesn't really blow me away. Yeah, I don't know. For me, she's like significantly subpar at the moment. Again, like I'm open to her evolving throughout the season, but I just don't get why she has all the love she has at the moment. Yeah, she's got good fascinators. I agree with you guys. But again, other queens like look at Laganja's that butterfly one was lush as. A lot of queens have good fascinators, you know. A fascinator is easier than wearing a wig and like styling a wig properly, right? That's like a whole art to itself. Sorry, let me move this further. Sorry, closer. Okay. There you go. So yeah, I mean, what did you guys? Let's focus on just the entrance looks for now. What did you guys think of Ongina's entrance look? Am I right in what I'm not necessarily right, but like, do you guys agree with my opinion, or were you here for her entrance look? Like immediately here for her? Let me know. I'm curious. Pork chop, I was actually pretty impressed with. I feel like fishy's the wrong word, but like she does drag well. Like it was, she's got like a strong drag look, you know. I just remember her makeup really, to be honest, Carlos. Yeah, and also with Pork Chop as well, she still looks the same as she does now, like 10 years later. And it's weird because obviously I know she had the plastic surgery and stuff, but to me, she still looks basically exactly the same. I think that's pretty impressive. You know, she obviously has like a strong look. I mean, it's obviously not. It's not really for me. It's not really my style. But I was just because obviously again, like she's the joke queen because she was the first one who went off. But actually, I do think she is pretty talented. Like maybe not moving, but the look at least. I don't know. I was relatively impressed. And also the transformation as well. Again, is quite stark between her as a dude and her as a drag queen. Yeah, super pedestrian. But I think the part of that is, as William and Alaska were saying in the podcast, that no one knew what they were getting into, right? Like it wasn't Drag Race wasn't what it is now, you know, the big phenomenon, like where every tiny thing is scrutinized by everyone, like myself right now, you know, they didn't know what they're getting themselves into. But like I stand by what I said at the beginning though, like just because that's the case and it's not a massive TV show or anything, you're still going on national TV presenting your art to people. Like, you know, my job is a games designer, and if I had a chance to pitch or present my projects to anyone, like I would put my best foot forward. I'd be super high energy. I would be professional, all that sort of stuff. But I feel like these queens are just like, yeah, like tripped and maul everyone who's in. It's like the first 9 queens they saw. It's like, yeah, let's go, let's go, let's go. You know, apart from a couple, but just generally, that's the sort of vibe I got from a lot of the entrance looks, and also throughout the episode, just generally, actually. Carlos is saying pork chop is what I thought drag queens looked like when I was 14. Don't know. I guess I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Same here. Again, like that's why I didn't like Drag Race because I avoided Drag Race. Sorry, that's why I didn't like drag generally. Was because in England you just see a lot of queens who look like her, but with comedy attached. It's not really my sort of humor. So I get that again, but I think when I must have originally watched the series, I must have disliked her as well because of that stuff. I think now, like, I'm a lot more used to different sorts of drags, and I can see like merits in different queens and different types of performances and stuff. I was actually pretty impressed, surprisingly so. Hey, of course, you're all right. Thanks for joining, Benji. I was saying it's a great thing. Drag queens like Pork Chop inspired current queens to even start drag. Always got to respect the older queens. Yeah, totally. But that's what I'm saying, because like obviously she's like a joke queen in that, you know, like she's literally like the butt of a joke for every grand finale. Like I know it's done with some respect sort of thing, but you know, and that's the thing, like one of the last notes, actually the last note I wrote was she was so super gracious when she left as well. She's just like a total sweetheart. And I think again that goes a long way, especially for drag race queens, like if they're nice people. And Pork Chop just seemed, again, especially compared to some of the other queens attitudes, Pork Chop just seemed to have the right idea. Like she seemed to be wanting to put her best foot forward. I mean, obviously, she's not the most talented in necessarily all the things that Drag Race requires, but she still had the right attitude. She came in to put her best foot forward. She was very sweet. She was very honest and open. I was just like fully here for Pork Chop, you know, surprisingly so. Hey, Jess, you all right? She won beauty pageants when she was younger. Oh, cool. I'd like to see some pictures from that. So you can say, to be fair, 10 years is a long time in the world of fashion. Today's standards is much higher. Yeah, I agree. But again, like this isn't aimed at Pork Chop, but for the season 10 finale, like a lot of the season 1 queens still didn't look great. Like they looked all right. Again, I don't know whether the outfits were provided for them. I don't really know what the situation was. And I don't know. I suppose not really exposed to many of the season 1 queens that often, but just generally, like I haven't really been impressed with any season 1 queen. Like I love Tammy's personality. Apart from Nina, sorry, Nina's looks the only looks I've been impressed by since season 1. I'd say, like as in more recent years. Cause is saying I really doubt Pork Chop has inspired any baby queen. Sorry, not sorry. Oh god. I know what you mean. Like she's not really strong, particularly strong in any area. But I don't know. I don't know. She's like a good drag queen, I guess. I don't know. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Okay, Akasha. She's one I completely forgot about. But I liked her confidence, like her initial attitude. And also the look was strong as well. Like actually, I wrote down like actually put effort in. I feel like hers was one of the only looks that it wasn't like going to the mall look, you know. Although for a caster based on her personality, I wouldn't be surprised if she did go to the mall in that look, and I'd respect that. But if you guys don't remember, she's wearing like a green sort of a jumpsuity thing, but it wasn't like a solid jumpsuit. It had like holes and stuff in. I don't know how to really explain it. But like a lot of the looks actually, especially entrance looks, were like quite 90s fashion, which I liked. Yeah, Nina is a goddess, I agree. Cause Suikin is saying, well, BB on All Stars didn't have the highest taste level, so maybe it's just the season 1 girls. Yeah, exactly. That's what. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Carlos saying Nina should have won the whole thing. No disrespect to BB. Yeah, let's see if we still hold that. Remember that, Carlos. I want to see if you still have that opinion by the end. So I do remember being really impressed with BB in this season. Again, like it's going to be weird watching season 1 now. We've seen BB on All Stars 3, and you guys know my thoughts on her from that. So yeah, I'm interested to see whether I still liked her as much as I did the first time I watched the season. Omar saying Pork Chop was inspired Kennedy, Jasmine Morgan, Stacey, Delta, Mariah. They've all said before at DragCons and interviews. Oh, that's sweet. Okay, this is harsh, but like to be fair, she's not like an inspiration like Aquaria in terms of like amazing looks where get you excited about dressing up sort of thing. I think maybe some of those queens are saying it to be nice because, or maybe like certain aspects like her strength of like and graciousness of like being the first eliminated but still having good attitude. Like I get it if that sort of thing inspired you, but in terms of like her aesthetic or her performance, like she was objectively not good this episode. I mean, she went home for numerous reasons. But I thought she's a sweetheart. I still really like her. So yeah, I hope you guys get what I'm trying to say. Carlos saying 90s looks to go along with the 90s picture quality. Exactly. Social etiquette. Yeah, so anyway, so I was initially impressed with Akasha and I was surprised I forgot her. Although by the end of the episode, I sort of remembered why I forgot her. Okay, so as I wrote down, like they all look so 90s, the next person that came in was Tammy. And I wrote down, like, I mean, it's a bizarre look, but I'd say even if a queen came in wearing the look Tammy was wearing in season 1, I think it would have been a really cool, unique, pretty strong entrance look. You know, I was really impressed with Tammy. Again, it's so difficult though because the picture quality is so shit. Like everything just looks a bit shit. I'd like to see these looks in HD and then sort of see if I've changed my opinion on any of them. Carlos is saying, well, except Mariah, I don't really like any of those queens as far as looks go. Because saying Tammy has a strong forehead. She does. I think that was it. Like a lot of forehead on show, and like obviously interesting makeup and interesting look. Again, like especially as this was the first season of Drag Race, I don't think anyone really see a drag queen like Tammy. I don't think there really is a drag queen like Tammy even now. So that was cool. You know, I love here for anyone being unique. Out of the CUNT, you is what I gravitate towards for sure. Jada just wrote down who, just another good girl at the mall. Okay, and this is an interesting thing I noted about BB. 1 second, I need a sip for this. So, you know, I had a go at BB consistently. I think a lot of people agreed throughout All Stars 3 that she had like the air of being the winner, despite probably not being as good as the other girls. But I was really interested to see, even from the very beginning of season 1, BB still walked in like the winner and still had the air of being the winner. And like to be fair to her, she won, so like it's sort of justified. And a lot of the queens were a bit shit. So, but then again, her entrance look wasn't strong either. So I don't know. I guess it's just part of her like personality or demeanor. But I don't know. It works for her. I guess she's unique in that way. I was saying she had the balls. This is about Pork Chop. She had the balls to dress up when dressing up was looked down on. Young kids nowadays don't realize that back in the day you can get beat up for doing drag, so that's why she's inspirational. Thankfully now it's all accepted thanks for older queens going against fear and discriminating from before. Sorry, one second. I'm just going to see it on the chat. It's a little bit hard for me to read. I bet I'm telling you to Yaz. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was sort of saying, Omar. Like, I get that side of it. Especially like again, like her story, she talks about how she was like shot at and stuff. Like, I don't want pork chop to be shot at. Everyone leave pork chop alone. Don't shoot things at pork chop. And yeah, I admire. You know, I said numerous times, I admire all the Queen's confidence for going on the show and for their talent. You know, they are all talented in some way. Sorry, you guys are just saying there's some BB quotes in the chat. Okay. She was really annoying to me. You're talking about BB still. I don't know. I feel like stop quoting BB's lyrics, please. It's distracting me. I feel like BB is still, again, it's hard to tell from one episode. She didn't really get much airtime either. But I still found her personally unlikable. Obviously, different sorts of personalities resonate with different people. But to me, like, I don't know. So far, I don't really like BB this season / generally. But again, like, I remember wanting her to win, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so they all walked in with purses. So I'm curious what they have in next. Obviously, they're not allowed phones or money. I just guess I don't know. So I don't really know what they would have in those purses, but I respect that they're prepared. Yeah, Omar, what are you saying? So I was saying, I mean, any queen who already won would act a certain way, but she hadn't won anything by this point in season 1, right? Look at Aquaria getting booed off stage in London. Did she? Why did she get booed off stage in London? Carlos didn't have an issue with BB on season 1. Okay, interesting. I can't remember who's. I wrote it written down. I don't remember who said it, but someone said, I think it was Rue said, America's next breakthrough drag superstar. I like that. It's nice and concise. Oh yeah, and then he said something about. Oh, that was it when he talked about getting the queens to the studio. Rue said, courtesy of Southwestern Airlines or Southwest Airlines, and BB gave a face like she was not happy. I mean, she's probably not used to traveling, not on a private jet, to be fair. But just I thought again, if you go back and watch the episode again, I just thought like the little look she gave when Rue mentioned Southwest Airlines was really funny. Makeup in the person, maybe Asha's actually a good shout. Good, yeah, probably right to suit again. Aquaria picked a trans friend out of the crowd. Okay, go on. What happened? Where's Kurt? I don't know. Kurt, come back. People again tracking down and force him to watch, please. Again, like I feel like if we have a consistent time, so we could try and do Sunday evenings around this sort of time every single week. I'm going to commit to this as best I can. Then I feel like you guys will always know. Like you can keep it free if you want to get involved. Obviously, if you have other stuff to do, fine, I get it. But you know, a lot of us don't, so you know, it should work out pretty well. Because before I was trying to work around my friends and that, I still like to get them involved whenever I can, of course. But even if I can't get someone involved, I just do it by myself. As long as you guys join the chat, you know, it's not totally pathetic. So I'm happy to continue. But yeah, so get like the word out there that this will happen every Sunday, and hopefully, yeah, everyone can get involved. And also, like I said at the beginning, so I don't know if you guys will hear for the beginning, we don't necessarily have to watch. I want it to be like, I guess, like a TV show club or a movie club. We don't always have to watch Drag Race. I do want to do other stuff on my channel generally anyway. But I mean, so next week we could just watch a different show, you know? I still want to try and do it roughly in time with the Race Chaser podcast. I think that'd be fun. But, you know, we could mix it up every now and again, watch an episode of something else, watch a movie. Something like new comes out on Netflix we want to check out, then we could watch that. Yeah, I don't know, or just like generally just hang out and talk about our weeks. I don't know. Thank you, Cos. Yeah, not creepy. They're my friends. Sandra Bullock and Beyonce. I can't remember what I called them at the beginning. But so I felt a bit less lonely, you know. But like everyone joined in. I didn't know if everyone would join in the chat, but they have. So it's all good. I don't even need them, but I'm happy to have them here anyway. So yeah. Okay, so first of all, it's a mini challenge, which was also sort of the maxi challenge because it was judged during the maxi challenge. So it's a photo shoot. and I think I've written them all down because there's like a mini break where they showed the workroom in between. So, but I think I caught all the queens. There wasn't a lot to say about some of them. So Tammy is the first one out, I think, and she's selling it. I mean, obviously she's mental, but it's working. Like, it's really interesting seeing Tammy in a situation where she would never normally be. I think like that sort of thing would be her worst nightmare. So seeing her like getting fully into it, like fully involved, I really respected. So I would say it's definitely out of the out of her comfort zone. Cool, Sukin. Let me know. I think like to start off with, maybe like Netflix movies. Like I saw Tao last week. Had some thoughts on that. I know, but I think we should like arrange it. So yeah, I don't know. I was thinking as well because like it seems pointless to put up a video, a few days before having like we're going to watch this thing, watch it, and then I'll see you Sunday. I could do, but I don't know if you guys use. I don't know how it works. I've not tried it myself yet, but the YouTube community features. So I noticed in my subscriptions on my phone that if channels can post like text, I sound like a total old man. But I could put like a little text thing being like, oh, a few days before, and I'd be like, we're gonna watch, everyone, let's watch this movie. I'll see you Sunday. We can chat about it. Would you guys like notice that if I do like a community update through YouTube? Text one again. I don't really know what it is, but I see them on my subscriptions. So yeah, that could work, right? Let me know. Anyway, so next up in the challenge was Chanel and like basic AF. Like I shouldn't really move. I didn't really do anything. Again, I don't really get her yet. Still open, but don't really get her. Yeah, I agree, Carlos. Why did they stop doing the photo shoots for episode 1? They are fun, and yeah, again, like the first one was actually not extreme, especially compared to later seasons, but it's pretty fun on. I think I like that they just like got on the show, just walked in the workroom, and just get like aggressively hosed down. Yeah, and again, like the way some of the queens reacted to it, like Akasha or BB, like they were just not happy. Like again, like why go onto a TV show and be so lackluster? Like give it your all, Again, I understand that it's not the giant it is now, but still, like it just seems weird to me that like a lot of them seem like pissed off to be there. Like Akasha's even like, I had to take time out of my job to come here to be treated like this. It's quite funny in a way, I guess. Who's using her assets? Chanel, what, her ass? I don't know. Like again, like it's one trick pony. Like don't use it as your gimmick all season, which I'm pretty sure she does. Sutukin saying maybe put a poll of options. How do I do that? Send me a message and let me know, please. I'll be up for that if you guys again would see. I guess I could do it on Twitter. I don't really use Twitter though. I guess I could start using Twitter and then put polls up. Tammy is so bonkers. She's like a maple bacon brownie. She shouldn't work, but does. Maple bacon brownie. Interesting. Now I want to try that. So I can't stop thinking about it. I've had maple syrup cured bacon on pancakes. I'm not really sure how I feel about that still. But in a brownie, that seems like one step too far. I don't know. No, she definitely juggles at some point. She what does a Chanel juggle? Oh god. Okay. Pork chop again is just super sweet. She's having the time of a little life on that car. I sort of just wish she could always be there, just like start a new life on top of that car, just being constantly hosed down. She looks so happy. And again, she didn't really do anything, but like the fact that she was loving it so much sort of sold it. I think she got away with it. Nina was actually working it, as she would expect. She looked cool as. Akash was actually working as well, giving me a music video vixen. I was pretty impressed, generally. On China, I didn't write anything down about. I don't think anything she really did anything of interest. BB was pretty impressive. She was like full on posing for Vogue. She just like didn't. It was weird. She was totally like disjointed from the situation. Like, I think she just completely like disconnected in her mind. I think she probably thought she just was doing like a cover shoot for Vogue and just ignored the fact she's on a car being sprayed down with water with 2 naked dudes. But it sort of worked, I guess. Jade, I've written down nothing, and Rebecca, I've written down basic. So yeah, Carlos, I don't know. I'm not into I'm not into bacon with pancakes. I love sweet and salty stuff generally. Like salted caramel is my jam, despite being like 2015 realness. I'm still all about it, and peanut butter in that. But I don't know. I'm not at the bacon pancake level yet. Okay, so that was the first mini challenge, or max challenge part one. I don't know what you want to call it. And yeah, it wasn't, again, like I said at the beginning. Like I was sort of surprised by how similar it is to current drag race in a lot of ways. And obviously, like the production values are a lot worse. But again, like I wouldn't be surprised if this would be a challenge, the first ever challenge for one of the later seasons. Again, it'd probably make it slightly more extreme. But again, it was still more hardcore than I thought it was in my memory, sort of thing, if that makes sense. Yes, sir, Suikin. And so now we've got some workroom bands. Sorry, I moved this over a little bit. Because if I'm looking at the chat, then I'm looking at the camera more as well. Okay. So, okay. Rebecca said, my lips are real. I just wrote down, okay. And I think Mo says later on that she recognises a nose job. It's obvious Rebecca has had. Again, I don't really notice anything ever, but it's obvious Rebecca has had, even to me, that she has had work done. So it's interesting she's tonight. She's giving me I guess, like pre-Kimura. And pork chop out of drag, I just wrote down she looks like she works at a petrol station. Like I know that's super specific, but I just had this whole like fantasy in my head of getting petrol and seeing pork chop like Victor behind the counter. I just feel like, again, that's sort of where she belongs, not in like a bad way, but like I don't know, I just feel like she'd be happy there. I don't know. I just see that for her in like a really nice way. Like she'd be content in that situation. Then maybe doing like, this is what I want for pork chops. Sorry if this is bad, but I want her to live her best petrol station attendant life in the day, and then just like go straight to that car as soon as like she clocks out, locks up the petrol station, and just go straight to the car in the showroom next door. Just like in drag, puts a wig on the way there, and the makeup. Probably, she probably did it in a couple of minutes it took to get from there to there, and just like lays on the car, and then just two douches come and hose her down all night until she has to work again the next day. I just feel like that'd be really good for her. Rebecca, who Glasscock could be in botched. Like the work wasn't bad, right? Like she's obviously had stuff done, but it wasn't bad. Carl saying she looked fairly natural, but then again, I'm watching this from like on like 120p. Yeah, it is hard to tell, but I could tell her lips are definitely done. No one naturally has. It's really rare for dudes, especially non-black dudes, to have an upper lip that's as big as like bigger or as big as your bottom lip. As far as I've seen, I don't know. And everything was just proportioned very, very well, which is again pretty rare. So actually, okay, so for the maxi challenge, I was actually, again, this is obviously the same sort of challenge we would have had in the later seasons, but they got way more of a chance this time around. So it was half 99-cent store stuff and half thrift store stuff, which I was quite surprised by. Yeah, you're right, Chris. Because I mean, like, again, like at one point, like Rue's going around the workroom, and he literally says to, who was it to? I think it was Rebecca or Jade. That is like, look, I like it. Like Rue's still reading everyone to filth, but he did it like a sweeter way. Like he was like whispering, like just trying to not let the other queens hear, sort of thing. But he's literally like, it looks like you've literally just taken this off the rack and put it on your dress fit thing, whatever it's called. So yeah, like Ruth still went fully in on everyone, which I respected. But yeah, but I got like a massive advantage by getting all that thrift store stuff. Like a lot of them just took multiple outfits and sewed them together, I think. Yeah, like it didn't obviously look very different. I think so, season 10 queens with that challenge had a far tougher time than the season 1 queens with their challenge. But that being said, some of the looks they produced were still pretty horrific. Yeah. And also, like, again, this is sort of what I was saying all along, but all the queen, like a lot of the queens just look disgusted at everything that's being presented to them. They're like disgusted with the mini challenge, disgusted with like the thrift store clothes, the maxi challenge, like everything. I just like a lot of the queens just seem super pissed off to be there, which I kind of respect. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like a big juxtaposition to later seasons, obviously. Right down, Pork Chop's been shot at with a sad face. We talked about that already. Oh, and then straight after, like Pork Chop talking about being shot at again, like in season 10, it would have made a whole like half episode sub story about that, which I want. I want to know the background of his story, damn it. But it was literally just like, oh, I've been shot at for being in drag, and like that was it. But literally straight after, there's like a cut of Andrina saying confessional that Pork Chop's obviously experienced, but Andrina's not a fan of experience, and like no shit, like I've seen what you look like on Andrina. You're obviously not a fan of experience. And I don't have yes to click for me. But I just thought it was quite funny. Like I don't know, like whereas in season 10 it would be like sad music, like a 5-minute long thing. But whereas this time we had Angina like bookmarking it by saying like she doesn't give a shit pretty much. Pork Chop says, oh, okay, so when Rue's coming round, Pork Chop says she's trying to serve drag queen at the beach. But like what you can see, and again it's different to a final look, but it's literally like a lot of black and a lot of frills. Like what are you wearing to the beach, girl? I get that she's like not good outfits and that, but I don't know. I feel like most people like know what people wear to the beach roughly. I don't know. It just looked nothing like an outfit to wear to the beach. I've talked about it already. Okay, and then so finally onto the runway. Like I know the filter was shit the whole way through the episode, but like you literally can't see anything at all when it changes to runway. I don't know what they've done, like to make it even worse than the rest of the episode, but it's tricky. It doesn't make anything look good. It makes everything look worse to me. Like I know, like I do it on my videos, right? Like I put a filter on to blur it out a little bit, and I think that makes me look a bit better, like almost acceptable. But for some reason with Drag Race, it just makes everyone look shitter. I'm not really sure how it works. So we've got a few things to talk about. Actually, first of all, that's the point. Like, Rue's look wasn't horrific. I keep remembering like the old Rue Lee Dawson uses in his videos. So I was sort of expecting that level of bustedness, but it wasn't too bad. Again, we couldn't really see her makeup. Her dress was fine, but the wig looked thirsty AF to me. But apart from that, I don't know. Maybe the blur helped cover that up. So we've got Merle. You guys go to. I went to the beach yesterday. It's pretty good. And actually, the sea was super warm yesterday. I don't know. It was warmer than when I was in Spain about a month ago. A lot warmer. I don't know. That's rare though. To be fair, I'm not like saying everyone go to the beach in the UK as soon as you can. Come on holiday. Rue was busted. Sue can live by the beach. Swansea Beach is terrible, but Wales has some lovely beaches. Interesting. The whales are drawn to the sea. About Pork Chop. Chris, no, Pork Chop's the sweetest. Don't come for her. But again, I don't know. Like, I feel like if she wore what she originally made to the beach, or even what she ended up making to the beach, I don't know. I feel like everyone would just leave, right? Just awkwardly walk away. Okay, so we've got Merle and Santino. How do we feel about them people? Let me know. Obviously, Michelle's fully where it's at, just objectively. But I don't mind Merle. She's all right. Like, she didn't really hold back, which I liked. She sort of was the judge that came the hardest for all of them. So she was sort of like a fine, like, Michelle 0.1 sort of thing. It has been really warm in the UK. You're right. But yeah, and Santino, he has like the least credentials to be there, I think. Didn't he like lose Project Runway, and that's his claim to fame? Also, I do remember disagreeing with a lot of what he said over the seasons, but I don't know. I feel like the panel seems to work pretty well with them, like those three. It's obviously not a patch on current lineup, although I like Ross. Quite like Carson as well, but I wouldn't really mind if they got replaced. But obviously, just Rue and Michelle, their dynamic is what the fans want. Yeah, I agree, Carlos. Santino varies between interesting and annoying. That's sort of how I feel as well. Merle is meh, and Sukin doesn't like Merle. Sukin saying maybe something is because something is hot in a kind of douchey way. Yeah, I can see that, and yeah, he definitely looks better bald. I agree with that. Yeah, I don't know what it is. He's got like it is like a douchey sort of hotness. He's a bit like Brian, like Cutty as Brian in a way, right? So right, let's go through the looks. So okay, so you guys tell me your thoughts as we go through, yeah. So first of all, we have Nina, and again, this is really frustrating for me because like of the shitty quality, you really can't see her outfit properly at all. But what I could see, I did really like. I think it was a good match with like the patterns, the color, and like the green flowers or leaves or whatever it was. I just think it was a really cool look. Again, like for me, I love stuff I haven't seen before, and again, like I've never seen a look like it, and it looked cool to me. And obviously, Nina's makeup is always on point. So yeah, I was really, really impressed with Nina's. She set up like a super high bar straight off the bat. I feel like she probably should have shown her later on through the runway, so I feel like if you see that, you expect all the other queens to meet. So I can't speak to sort of meet that level. But it sort of just sent out the strongest by a mile first, and everyone else was just super disappointing. Which I remember because I've seen the season before, obviously. But I feel like if you're a first time viewer and you see Nina, you'd be like, yes, like this is like going to be the best show ever. But like everyone else was pretty shit. Akasha was like past basic. I don't even know if she did anything with the material she was given. Carlos is saying Nina's look was very good. So you can like Nina's look interesting, but like the check trousers. Yeah, I thought the trousers was really cool with the red jacket thing. Yeah, Akasha's look was super basic, like looked pretty bad, like basic bad. It was fully hooker as well. The skirt looks terrible. Akasha, who, yeah, again, like that was, I feel like I'm going to forget her as soon as she leaves as well, to be honest. Okay, Angina. Again, I'm interested to hear you guys' thoughts on Angina's look. Like I wrote down not bad for season 1. I don't know, but I felt like the more I looked at it, the less I liked it. I didn't even really like it that much initially anyway. It was one of the more inventive outfits, but it doesn't necessarily make it good. Like it's difficult because obviously you don't want to compare to later seasons because it's not the same game at all, really. But again, I just feel like they were given so much to work with. You could have created some really cool, interesting things out of it. Like some cool, I think with these sort of challenges, again, even bouncing Drag Race, I feel like it'd be pretty obvious to focus on creating a unique silhouette or shape, or like use interesting materials, or I guess I'm trying to sort of do that to an extent, but I just would have expected a lot more from Water Queens generally. Yeah, Akasha definitely doesn't know about proportionizing. Although she is pretty fishy generally. Angina has more proportionizing issues. I agree, Suikin. And then we had pork chop, which wrote down, excuse me. I don't really understand what was happening with it. Like, I don't know, even now. I think you said you liked the color story, but I didn't. Like, I didn't really like anything about it. But bless her, like she obviously put a lot of effort in, I guess. So that's to be commended. BB I wrote down pretty good. It's obviously what you expect. Now we've seen a lot of BB. It's obviously exactly what you'd expect her to do. I feel like she did something slightly less basic on All Stars 3 if she had the same challenge again. Or maybe not. I mean, maybe she just put like a mask on and just call it a look, Angina's was like the beta for Miss Vanjie's Barbie doll dress. It kind of was. Closest pork chop gets to a salad. It's pretty good. Chanel, I wrote down pretty good. Oh yeah, actually Chanel's was pretty impressive to be honest. Although, like, I'm already sick of the whole ass thing already, like relying on that so much, especially when like you're not proportionized well. I was just getting boy. I just get boy from her a lot, like more so than from Angina, I'd say. But yeah, I'm not really sure what Chanel's going for with her look, but I did like it. Again, it's like difficult to really talk through because I don't really know if there was a reference for it. It was a bit weird, but I quite liked it. I don't know. Again, wasn't blown away. Jade. What have I written down? Oh, basic, but I like the boob strap. Yeah, it had like a cool boob strap, which I liked. But the rest of it, eh. Again, a lot of bad wigs on this season as well, on this first runway. Okay, Rebecca's dress was really bad. Apart from, for me, I really like the foil bit she added to the back, where it looked like the back had been like ripped open, I guess, in a way. I thought that was really cool. But then everything else was terrible. So I don't know. I feel like if I was Rue, like hosting this show, I'd be like, oh, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Like, I do a quintuple elimination on the first episode and just get this season over and done with ASAP. Oh my god, Susie Kid loves Jay's look. Really? I thought, wait, what was Jay? The boob strap one. Oh yeah, that was like one of the more okay ones, but I don't know. I wouldn't go. I think loving is a bit extreme. IMO. I am being super negative. 0 across the board. You're right. Did you watch the episode again, Chris? Like, it isn't good. I think it's more just like the Queen's attitude, though. Like, if they were all hungry for it and putting like everything into it, then I think it would have been better. But like, it's difficult to buy into something the Queens aren't even really buying into themselves. You know, she had a foil earring. I didn't notice that. Yeah. Again, it's quite funny to watch. Like, I do get the impression a lot of the Queens are like resentful they're there. Like their parents have forced them to go to like a summer camp or something. Is that sort of vibe for me? Glass got like a budget Lady Gaga. I think even that is being too kind, if I'm honest. Tammy was one of my favorite looks. Again, didn't blow me away, but it was a cool material. Like the shape again, shapes is good for these sort of challenges. Tammy's had some interesting shapes. It sort of fits her aesthetic well. She sort of made what she's presented her own, which I suppose is easier for her because she's a thrift shop sort of girl anyway. So yeah, and it was really funny that she went out the wrong way, just like took Rue's exit. Can Pork Chop and Glass Cop have a -10? No. Tricky one. Okay, so again, I feel like Glasscock had a redeeming feature of foil at the back of the dress, which like gives it a -9 for me. And Pork Chop is literally the sweetest, so I'm gonna give her -4 because I'm biased. And it's my show, so do what I want. So yeah, that's all it looks really like. Underwhelmed generally. Again, it's like I say, I'm not saying like I'm going and expecting like season 10 Aquarius style looks. Not that at all. I mean, just like generally, like I like to see something that I wouldn't see at a mall or like. So I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of an equivalent. Like even if you went out somewhere and I'm trying to think, I can think of like British examples. Like I don't know, like a day at the horse racing. I don't know if people do that or if it's just Ascot or whatever. But I feel like again, you see more interesting looks there. Like what's like a mildly fancy event, like a wedding reception. I feel like you'd see more interesting looks at a wedding reception than I did on a runway. You know, so that's what I'm sort of comparing against. Not comparing against like the latest seasons of Drag Race. I'm just comparing against like any sort of like event where people wear vaguely interesting things, you know. Suki Tammy saying Tammy was very fun. I think her personality pulled the look off more than her style. Oh yeah, I would agree with that totally. A gang fight. What are you saying? Yeah, Tammy definitely was a standout. Tammy and Nina, the only two I'm interested in thus far. I think I mentioned this earlier, but in terms of deliberations and the critiques, they're like fully coming for Akasha. They're like not holding back at all. Again, I love Akasha's like confessional. She's like, I took time off work to be here. Like she's like pissed off, like resentful that she's there, you know. But it's quite endearing at the same time. Akasha dressed for the bachelor party cake. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what was going on there. I was watching the what's it called, the revealed version of the season, which again I've already seen, but so I can get some extra tidbits. So, like, apologies if you know this stuff already, but in case you don't, one interesting thing I thought they said is that Interior Illusions is actually the name of a store in Florida. I thought it was like some sort of drag pun I just never got. It's actually just the name of like the store that sponsored it, I guess, Well, they didn't really make a point of that, I don't think. So it's a bit of a shit sponsorship, really. Oh yeah, I can't remember who they said it's about, but I think there's a Kasha. Mo says again during the deliberations that she doesn't. I think it was a Kasha doesn't know how to work with her body, and Rue says like really sincerely like that might work against her. like well done, like judging on point. I don't know. I feel like Rue could also be a psychic in disguise. Calling Akasha demure was a joke. Wonder if he knows what demure means. Yeah, like I must have missed that. That is ridiculous. She looked like a full-on prostitute. But again, I agree with the critique. Like she came down a runway lackluster, like a lackluster prostitute. First time in drag. No, like she looked fishy. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on with this season, to be honest. Okay, and then so we get to the lip sync, and again, this sums up the whole damn episode for me. Just like zero energy. No one really did anything. It was just hella boring. I think I would have fallen asleep if I was in the crowd. But bless Pork Chop, because she almost fell over about 5 times. The most demurest prostitute ever. Exactly. And again, as I said earlier, Pork Chop was super gracious. When she left, she's a total sweetheart. Pork Chop has my heart. That's the best thing I got out of this episode. That like I've always liked Pork Chop because of like her not comic value. What's the term? I don't know, but like for what she is, sort of thing. But like I didn't really know much about her as a person, her personality, and that. But she's the sweetest. Like I want her to have as much airtime as possible. She is the OG kimchi. You're right. Yeah, so let's do charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. Charisma, Pork Chop, 100% for all the reasons I just said. You guys tell me yours as well as we go. It's going pretty fast as it's just me, or I've got to think about them as I go. Uniqueness, it's got to be probably Tammy, for obvious reasons. I'm not saying her look was the best necessarily, but it was the most unique, I'd say. Nerve, it's got to go. Oh, it's a tricky one. I sort of want to give the Pork Chop for like not paying attention in the mini challenge at all. Just paying attention to the dudes. I'd say Rue for so much really. This whole first episode was just a bit of a mess. I feel like Rue's name is on it, so he should have really got his shit together a bit better. Carlos is giving charisma to Tammy, uniqueness to Nina. I get that. I wish Pork Chop was on season 4, All Stars 4. Sorry. Carlos is giving charisma to Nina, you to Tammy. Nerve. That's a good one, Carlos. Carlos is giving it to Chanel. Suki's giving it to Akasha. That's why I gave it to RuPaul, didn't I? I remember. And then talent, Suki's giving it to RuPaul. Oh, okay, so we've got opposite ones. I'm giving nerve to RuPaul. I'm guessing like Ru is a reason for that filter, because I bet Ru's like, this filter will make me look better, but it doesn't. It makes everyone look a lot worse. Okay, I'm gonna give nerve to like the production staff, just in case it wasn't Ru who chose things. Talent, Nina, easily. She won the challenge by a mile for me, and just generally like she would do well in any of the later seasons. She's just polished. She obviously puts a lot of like love and creativity into her craft. Just always been thoroughly impressed with Nina. She's good to watch. And yeah, I guess that's it, right, guys? That's the first episode. What do you guys think of it generally then? Like compared to, because obviously we're all used to late seasons, a lot higher production value. So yeah, what do you guys think of it? Like going back and watching this compared to later seasons. Carlos is saying T has to be Nina on this episode. Yeah, I agree. Carlos saying T to Pork Chop is just by so many new queens. Yeah, exactly. That's actually a lot of talent there. Nice one, Cos. Damn it, I wish I'd done that. But yeah, what did you guys think of going back and watching season 1 after we're so used to something very different? Really, was it fun going back, or was it depressing? Were you like surprised by anything? Pleasantly surprised? Unpleasantly surprised? Do you still understand why Chanel is a big deal? Does that make sense to anyone? Or Angina? I don't know. I'm interested to know. Let me know in the chat or in the comments down below. I agree, Sue. It definitely was odd, which makes it quite fun to watch and talk about, though. I sort of like my fear would be I go back and watch it and it'd be like just all boring. I wouldn't really have anything to talk about. But I feel like because it is odd, that's a really good way to sum it up. It means there's quite a lot to talk about. Because it's saying awkward, yeah, I agree with that as well. The production was much less forced, and again, everyone was. This is something interesting to talk about, actually, Sue. Again, I agree, but because everyone has a go at production, right, and the way it twists everything, but at the same time, it has produced a far more interesting show. It sort of shows, like again, like I was saying earlier, the pork chop story. Like pork chop's obviously got a lot to say, but we never got to hear anything because production didn't step in and like, right, like tell someone ask about this, and this. Everyone like make sure pork chop can speak for 20 minutes. Don't really interject, because we didn't have any of that. We didn't really get pork chop's story properly. So another thing I've learned is that I want production to enter even more into previous seasons. I want them to tell the queens exactly what to say at all points to make a more interesting show. Carlos is saying, I remember thinking it was amazing when I first saw it 10 years ago, but now it's kind of surreal. It's the beginning of something knee. It's the beginning of something knee, and you can tell. Thanks, Carlos. A real deep insight there. Was this the first season you watched? Chris is saying I fell asleep and had a confusing dream about Aja, so I still need to continue watching it. Yeah, I feel like you mentioned Aja a few times when we've hung out recently, Chris. I feel like that's something you need to work through. Maybe hit her up on use that grinder feature where you can spoof your location and just hunt her down. The Vixen could have used the season 1 edit. 100% right, let's do it again. I need to imagine it's 10 years ago. Yeah, exactly. Carlos, don't go back on what you previously said. You made your bed. Yeah, exactly. No one wants to go back 10 years. We're all Rex 10 years ago. It's interesting to watch the first season. Again, like my mates, John and Jess from a couple of streams ago, who forced me to watch season 4. I was really against it because, as I was saying earlier on, the only drag I was aware of was drag like pork chops, and that's just not for me. Love her, but not for me. And also, like the style of comedy British drag queens normally do, just again, it just doesn't resonate with me in any way. So for me, drag was like actively like not good. So sorry, my vocab's, that's the thing, is Sunday evening, my vocab's not on point any longer. Season 2 was your first season, Suikin. Interesting. Season 7 was yours, cause interesting. So like season 4 is like where it starts to get really good for me. I don't know whether that's because that was the first season I watched. Even like I think season 1's actually more interesting to talk about than probably season 3 will be. Because I feel like season 3 is just like a way more boring version of what we currently have, whereas season 1 and probably 2 are just completely different, like a different show. I wonder how comparing this season 1 to watching season 1 of, say, something like Drag Race Thailand or The Switch will be. Carl saying season 3 is pretty good. Season 3 has some of my favorite queens. Suikin saying I liked a lot of season 3 queens at the time, but now as time's gone on, I don't really like. I'm not really a fan of Raja anymore. I liked her looks at the time, but I don't know. I've got like not great feelings towards Raja these days. I don't actively dislike her, but I don't know. I don't think she's as good as she's made out to be personally. Yeah, obviously Stacey Lane Matthews is slaying the game 24/7. Yeah, so I feel like we should probably watch episode 2 of season 1 next week so we can keep up with the Race Chaser podcast. Or do you think we should go on to episode something else? Maybe episode 1 of Drag Race Thailand or The Switch, like I said, or a different show like or a Netflix movie. What do you guys think? Also, what's the best way I should go about finding out what we're going to watch every week? Do you think like a poll, or like just like saying it in like a YouTube community update, or doing like a little video every week, like a really quick one on my phone, just being like, these are the options. Let me know in the comments down below what you want to watch, and we'll do that. I'll see you Sunday. Let me know what would be easiest for everyone, and we'll do that. So Suki's asking who everyone's favorite queens are. Cause is saying Katya. Of course, Katya's up there 100%. Suki's saying Juju Beam, Nilo, Cameron, and Sasha. Controversial. Chris is saying both. Chris, I don't have to do any of this stuff. That's the issue. Also, somebody's told me how to do these things. It's difficult to think of my favorite queens of all time. I love aesthetically probably Pearl. Like just her aesthetic just resonates with me the strongest, I'd say. Aja, I think, is super underrated. Obviously, she's doing really well with her music and post show, but just on All Stars 3, All Stars 3, she was just amazing. Like just tens across the board for me. I know, I loved her. Obviously, got like Katia, and a lot of what Trixie's done is really great. Nina Bonina Brown has been great at points. I like a load of queens. All day. Justin Fox is also a classic. Oh, Gia Gunn's my all-time favorite queen, obviously, without a doubt. More streams. I'll do more streams. Straw Poll is a good poll site. You can link it in the description. Cool. Okay, that's a good shout, Suki. I'll do that. Although the thing is, I don't think people read the description or really comment too much, so that needs to change. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I think that's it, right? This week, guys. Oh wait, let me tell you about something on popular culture that I've watched that I like. There was definitely something. Oh, that was it. Octopath Traveler on the Switch. I played the demo, the 3-hour-long trial thing. Don't need that anymore. The 3-hour-long trial thing, and I really didn't like it. But after playing the full game, I'm fully addicted to it. I think it's great. Like I love the battle system, the art style, which I initially didn't really like in the demo. The stories are pretty good. Again, nothing revolutionary, but it's just a really cool world. You know, I definitely want to get some Octopath merch if I can. So I highly recommend Octopath Traveler if you have the Switch. Yeah, of course, listeners were up there, of course. It may encourage more interaction. Good point, Sukikin. So yeah, if you guys thanks, Sukin so much saying this week Grant was lonely all by himself and we loved it. Thanks. I was initially lonely when I started, but loads of people joined, so it's been good. Thanks. Chris, we'll talk about that. But yeah, so thanks for joining me, guys. We'll continue the discussion down below. Let me know what other sort of videos you'd like me to do. I think I might start streaming more stuff on Twitch as well, if anyone's interested in that. So yeah, I feel like that was a pretty successful first episode of Seafoam Sundays. So thanks for joining me, and come back next Sunday, yeah? And we'll do it again. I've got like I'll use this to stop the stream now, just in case you're wondering what I'm doing. I'm turning you guys off, but with love. I'm turning you guys off with love. Thanks for joining me. Have a good week. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.